All right, let's dive into China's economy, because right now, it's sending some seriously mixed signals. On one hand, you've got all this weak data that just screams for a big stimulus package. But Beijing? They're holding back. Instead, they're pouring a ton of money into this massive green initiative. It feels like a total contradiction, so we're going to unpack the strategy behind it. And this is really the core puzzle, isn't it? I mean, how can an economy hit the brakes and slam on the accelerator at the exact same time? It just doesn't sound right. But as you'll see, there's actually a very deliberate, very calculated logic behind this whole thing.
So here's where we start. Despite a lot of people calling for help, China's central bank is keeping its key lending rates on hold. We're talking 7 months straight with no major monetary stimulus. This right here, this is the brakes part of our story.
And just so we're all on the same page, when we say benchmark rates, we're talking about the loan prime rate, or LPR. You can think of this as the foundation for pretty much every loan in the country, from a huge business loan all the way down to a mortgage for a new apartment. Its impact is just enormous.
Now, the really crucial number is the 5-year rate, because that's the one that directly hits mortgages, and it is holding firm at 3.5%. Just think about that for a second. The property sector is in deep, deep trouble, and policymakers are actively choosing not to make mortgages cheaper. That's a powerful signal they're sending.
So why is this decision so baffling to so many people? Well, to get it, we really need to look at the economic data, the numbers that have analysts totally convinced that a rate cut has to be right around the corner.
First up, let's look at consumer spending. November's retail sales growth, it came in at just 1.3%. That is less than half of what everyone was forecasting. It shows you that the average person is really hesitant to spend money, and that is a major red flag for any economy.
And you know, this weakness isn't just about consumers. The country's industrial engine, its factories, it's sputtering too. Industrial production missed its forecasts, hitting the slowest pace in over a year. So this isn't just one problem in one area. The slowdown is spreading.
But really, the biggest anchor dragging the whole economy down is still the property sector. I mean, look at these numbers. Investment is actually shrinking. Home prices in the biggest cities are falling, and resale prices are dropping even faster. This has been a wound for China's economy for a while now, and it just isn't healing. So you look at all this data, and the conventional wisdom, summed up perfectly here by economist Eswar Prasad, is that stimulus is inevitable. Policymakers have to step in and do something, right? And yet, they're not. And that just makes this whole thing even more of a mystery.
It's a mystery because what we've seen so far is only half the story. To find the real answer, we have to stop looking at where China isn't acting and start looking at where it's taking massive, decisive action.
Okay, so while those old engines of the economy, like property, are being left to cool down, China is pouring fuel on a brand new one, green finance. This is the accelerator part of our story.
Now, the absolute core of this strategy is something called a green taxonomy. It sounds complicated, but just think of it as an official rule book. It defines very clearly what counts as a green investment. It creates one single unified standard for the entire financial system.
And China just rolled out a huge update to this rulebook. For starters, it unifies a bunch of different standards into one, which cuts down on costs and confusion for investors. But honestly, the biggest change here is how it dramatically expands the very definition of what green even means.
And just look at what's been added to the list. We're talking about everything from methane reduction and building climate resilience to passenger rail. It even includes brand new concepts like green trade to boost exports of green tech and green consumption, which could create special green loans for consumers. The scope here is just massive. Now here's the kicker. This isn't just a domestic plan. Not at all. The second part of the strategy is to plug this new green financial system directly into the rest of the world. And to do that, China recently renewed a really important agreement with the IFRS Foundation. That's the big international organization that sets global accounting and sustainability standards. This move is a huge signal that China wants its new green industries to speak the exact same language as global investors. This partnership is so serious that the board in charge of these rules, the ISSB, actually has an office in Beijing. The ISSB creates the global rulebook for how companies report their climate impact. So by adopting these rules, Chinese companies can prove their green credentials to anyone in the world, making them a magnet for foreign capital.
So what's the bottom line here? The goal is to create a seamless pipeline. By adopting global standards, China is making it way easier for the trillions of dollars in global green capital to flow right into its new, prioritized industries.
Okay, let's bring it all together now. We've seen the brakes, and we've seen the accelerator, so now we can finally solve the puzzle of China's two-track strategy.
This right here puts the entire strategy into perspective. On one side, you've got short-term caution. They're holding interest rates steady, avoiding the kind of broad stimulus that would just prop up old, debt-heavy industries like real estate. But on the other side, aggressive long-term action, building a world-class green finance system to power the industries of the future. What this all boils down to is a massive strategic bet. Beijing is choosing the much harder path of long-term structural change over the easy fix of a short-term stimulus. They are willing to accept some economic pain right now for what they believe will be a much stronger, more sustainable economy down the road.
And that, of course, leaves us with the big, lingering question. Is this bet actually going to pay off? Can this ambitious long-term vision for a green economy create enough growth fast enough to solve the very real economic problems people are facing today? That is the multi-trillion-dollar question that's going to define China's economy for years to come.